Good evening. This is Axe Welfare Rights, and if you are on the right station, you'll see it's just me tonight. Ha ha ha! But no, Maureen's on her way in here, and we have some guests, and we really want to get down to the program, and we hope that your fingers are ready to dial in as well as come to the phone with your pencils and paper because you should be ready to take down information. Uh, I want all of you in the listening areas to understand that tomorrow the Michigan Parade will be taking place here in Highland Park. And we've been trying to carry on this tradition for a long time. And the Grand Marshal in the Highland Park Parade tomorrow, and we hope that all of you will come out, will be Mr. R.J. Watkins himself. And what better person to be out there, because this man and his family has stayed in Highland Park and making sure that we have a way to communicate over here. So come on out. If you can't march with the parade, at least welcome it and clap and have a good time out there tomorrow morning. And make sure you let the Grand Marshal know that you standing out there watching him. Thank you. You're listening to, and something I'm used to doing this in the middle of the program. HPR TV 33. You can get us on the website of www.tv33whpr.com. That's the phone numbers to call in. You have the two in the bottom is 868-0342, 868-0351, and 868, I'm repeating some, 336. And I want to introduce to y'all some people that I have been able to be familiar with, and as well as Maureen, because all of us are part of this Poor People's Campaign. If you remember the Poor People's Campaign, it was the campaign that Dr. Martin Luther King had started at one time, and he called Welfare Rights in and a whole bunch of other organizations to join that campaign. And if the campaign was to eliminate poverty in this country. But yet and still, we sitting up here in Michigan, leading the nation, as far as the number of people that are forced to live below the poverty level. So tonight we have some young people here that, as well as some
Old people.
some great senior citizens here that are part of this policy. I mean, what is taking place, and we're gonna take a break for a second because one of our senior citizens just came in, and we have to get her situated and take off one of her legs where she can sit in the chair properly, and you will know who she is once she gets on here. So, Junior, could you sign us up for a minute? Give us our song again.
Once again, good evening. I'm so sorry to be running a few minutes late today, but I think that if you have already tuned into this program, it'll be well worth your wait to pay attention and listen and enjoy the conversation that we're about to share. My name is Maureen Taylor, and I work with Michigan Welfare Rights. And I have a couple of things I wanted to share with our on air folks and people that are watching and listening to us. I've got a case that I need help with. Marion, I've got this young woman that's in her 40s, and she's got two minor children. And she is in a wheelchair after an accident that she had, and she lives on the second floor. The folk that used to live on the first floor are gone. So she lives on the second floor and she's in a wheelchair. There was a fire on the first floor at the rear of the flat, and there was damage on the first floor and on the second floor, and she still lives there. She has not been out of her flat for almost 2 years. Can't even get outside. So, however it happened, we just got this case last weekend. And what I need from folks that are watching and listening, somebody call Welfare Rights with some information about a first floor flat or a home that's for rent. They have money.
Accessible.
Well, don't have to be accessible because we got
We got
carpenters and
carpenters,
friends
yeah.
that'll make it
But
accessible.
it would be
You know,
real good if it's
you know.
accessible.
So we need that, and we need it quickly because however it happened, Protective Services has found out that she's living upstairs with no access to get out. And it was quite an accident that I was able to call at the same time. So we don't have a lot of time, Marion, to try to find a place to move this young woman. She may be eligible for a Section 8 certificate. I'm not sure yet. but for sure she has income and she can pay rent. So those of you, folks that watch this station, you all know everything. So somebody's got a house, somebody's got a first floor flat or a townhouse or something that is able to be rented out. Now, those of you that have properties that cost $2,000 a month,
No,
don't call us.
don't
We're not
call
talking
us.
about you.
Our phone not
No,
much
no, we're not talking
change.
about you. We're not
Yes.
dealing with that. So we need that kind of help. And Marion, that was the big thing that. Oh no, one more thing at Wayne County Community College tomorrow, from 9 until 12, and this is the downtown district. They are holding their annual readathon,
Oh,
where
they
they
have that.
read to
Yes.
the first, second, and third graders, and some of you elderly people that don't know how to read anymore. I heard Marion referencing something crazy like that when I was coming
No,
through
I
the
was
door.
talking about your leg, honey.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So, those of you that may be interested, go down to Wayne County Community College on 4th Street tomorrow. And the real fun part of this is that they're doing face painting. They're giving away book bags. Marion, they're giving away books. They have actual dictionaries.
What?
I know a lot of people don't know what you all know what a dictionary is. See, people they heard miss about. They don't know no
They
dictionary
don't know
is.
what a
They all
dictionary is.
online, but they have actual books.
And they don't even know if online if it's the right definition.
You see, so all of those activities are going on tomorrow, and I promised Susan that we would be able to say something about that. So,
Okay, good.
Marianne, why
Let's
don't
move
we
on.
announce the fact that we have some wonderful friends and guests with us? I don't know if you said anything about it yet.
Let me tell you the hot news,
Oh,
Maureen.
tell me the
Where
hot
do you
news.
think Willie is?
Mm-hmm.
Hiding
He
from
in the
you and
bathroom
I.
usually. That's where
Yeah,
usually
but
is.
he's hiding from you, from us.
No.
He said yesterday, "Are you gonna do them like you did me?" I said, "What did we do to you, Willie?" He said, "You took me to that station, and all of a sudden there was a microphone in my
Well,
face."
he had to speak.
Yeah.
So, we have some of our close friends, and
Mhm.
they're involved in something called the Midwest. Well, I'm calling it the Midwest Poverty Tour.
Yes.
And what they're doing is traveling different parts of the country at different times to try to get the real scoop on why are there so many low income people. How is it that they got to be like that? What's the story? So all this conversation about the recession is over and happy days are here again and there's a chicken in every pot and a pot in every garage. People don't have a pot or a garage or a chicken. So our colleagues are here, and we invited them for the next 3 days. So why don't we have
Let's
them to
open it up.
explain a little bit about why they're here, and talk loud here. Get right into the microphone,
Okay.
young man. What do you have a name?
I do have a name.
Good. Tell them what your name is.
My name is Larry Cox, and I'm with the Cairo Center for Religions, Rights, and Social Justice and the Poverty Initiative at Union Theological Seminary
That's a
in New
big
York City.
name.
Fantastic. And ma'am, do you have a name?
I do.
Good. Tell the people what is your name.
My name is Shayla Quintana, and I'm with Poor People First Pennsylvania. We're a grassroots organization in Pennsylvania working to unite the poor and working class so that we can change what's politically possible in our state.
All
Wow,
righty.
that's some
Well,
good
looks like
stuff.
we got the right people
Uh-huh.
here. Larry, why don't you start? Give us a little background information about what is this tour about and what's going on. What are you looking for here? Go ahead.
Yeah, well, we're trying, as you know, we're trying to build a new poor people's campaign for today, because we know that not only haven't things changed since Dr. King called for a revolution to transform the society, but things have actually gotten
Hold
worse.
on.
And so we're trying to build this campaign, and we think the best way to build it is to go out and meet with the people who are on the front lines of the struggle in different places in the country and learn from them, and like we're learning from you, like we always have. And so we've been doing these tours where we go around the country talking with people who are engaged in struggle, the leaders of the struggle, both people that are real experienced, have been around a long time fighting, and young people who have just begun to get into the struggle to learn what's going on. And we've been in Selma, we've been in the Gulf Coast, we've been to Appalachia, we've been to North Carolina, we've been to Salinas, California, and this time we're going to one of the situations where the struggle is the most intense and the hardest for me to take, because I'm from the Midwest, I'm from Cleveland, and it's hard to see the conditions people are living in. But we're going here to Chicago. We were just in Elkhart, Indiana. We've been, we're going to be in Detroit. We're going to go to Flint, and we're going to end up in Cleveland.
All right, that's
All
such
right.
a that's a
That tells
that's a
us.
trip.
Now, Shayla, why don't you give us a little information about what you've seen and what is your motivation in being involved in this experience?
And when did you join?
Now, get close, get
Yeah.
close to the
Don't be
microphone.
afraid
You know,
of it.
you know,
I joined the Poverty Initiative in 2012. I got involved stopping deportations of people in my community who were getting deported. And I met wonderful leaders around me who supported me and who helped me understand what was going on, and that it wasn't my community's fault that we were getting deported, but that
That's
it was
right.
bigger structures in place that were trying to get rid of poor people in this country. So I came to the Poverty Initiative, and through that process, I've learned to understand the context that affects us all, and that poverty is rampant, and that poverty is unjust and it's unfair. And so I'm motivated because my family is poor, and my family has been poor ever since I know that my family has existed. And we immigrated to the United States fleeing poverty and violence. And when we got here,
From where?
from Mexico,
Okay.
and we got here and we thought that we were going to see what is flooding our TV screens back home, which is a picture of America that has nice homes, and you have a car and you have your backyard. And we knew when we got here that that was not for us, and that is not for a lot of people. And we knew that the system was built fundamentally to leave people out, to leave
That's
poor
right.
people out, and that we need to change it.
You didn't run into the golden chicken in your neighborhood,
I
right?
did not.
Okay, a car in every garage and all that. No.
None of
Mm-mm,
that.
No.
And that's what I've seen in places like Hellcard, where people are struggling to get health care, which is what we're fighting for in Pennsylvania, where people are struggling to get housing and to get water and to get clean air, which is basic and is natural, and everybody should have access to it.
Caller, you've been waiting a long time. You're on the air. Welcome to Ask Welfare Rights. Caller, you there?
Hello.
Yes, go
Hi.
ahead.
Good evening, Mrs. Kramer and Miss Taylor,
Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
and to your guest. Miss Taylor,
Yes.
I have a place.
Oh,
Good.
young lady.
Take this number,
she has a
964
number.
0618
Okay,
964.
Miss Taylor,
She
can
has
I
to
do
be-
this?
Yeah.
Can I leave my number at the front desk and you call me?
That's
Yeah,
even
that's it.
better. If you'll do that, that'd be magnificent.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'll do. So is Miss Maxine up there?
Somebody's up there to answer the phone, 868-6612.
Okay, I'll leave my name, okay?
You're so wonderful.
Okay, and thank you so much. And you all have a wonderful day, and that's a great show, and I'm still going to listen off the air, okay?
And thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Participating.
All righty. Caller, you're on the air. Thank you for waiting, and thank you for calling Ask Welfare Rights.
Do we agree that poverty is a man-made violence against the people? Also, I want to direct your attention to naturalnews.com, naturalnews.com, and they have data and evidence from scientists that mass poisoning in America seems to target black communities. It is no coincidence. It is deliberate. Thank you for taking my call.
All right, thank you. All right, now, yeah, she wanted to have our guest, and we can speak on it too, talk about whether or not poverty is man-made. There's a website that she cited where there's data and whatnot available, and she's of the opinion that poverty is targeted to African Americans. So, Mary, you want to start with that?
No, I'll wait.
I'll start. Where did you say you came from?
Mexico.
Okay. Well, you know, if we continue to reach the conclusion that the only folk in America that are poor are African Americans, that means she can't go to the fight with us. That means he can't go to the fight with us. And I think our with the four of us, we could probably do better, especially do better with my a brace on my knee. You got a brace on your knee? Oh, good. Shayla don't have a brace on her knee. We need people that are energetic and young and can run and all these kinds of things. There's no question that the history of this country is built on slavery. That's how they got to be the quote, quote, greatest country in the world, because they stole from everybody. But don't never forget that California used to be Mexico. You know, I mean, you know, we're talking about Native Americans slaughtered. We're talking about Latinos slaughtered. We're talking about Anglo Americans slaughtered. We're talking about Japanese building railroads slaughtered. And on the blood of working people, this country has gotten to be the richest country in the world. Well, how you think that happened? Money is green, but the backdrop is red because all of us had to shed blood. Yes, the African American, we can never escape the shadow of the plantation. But I don't want to be singled out in terms of how many people or how many groups of folks that are in my community that are brown skinned are targeted more so than anybody else. Anybody, this country is the richest country in the world. That's what they say. There's enough here for everybody, and no one should be without health care, without a house, without food, and this crisis that we got with water is a disgrace. So we're bringing to you and everyone else today, tomorrow, and Sunday, folks that want to fight. Now, if you don't want to fight with them because she's Latino or because he's blind, then you go build your own damn army, and let's see how far you gonna go.
I wonder-
Okay, I've been to that army before. That one didn't work.
You sure was
Could
at
I-
that
if I-
army.
See, so
That's
well.
why, in
Let me
fact,
say a
that's
word.
where we
Yeah.
got them for.
All right, Larry has a comment to make. I ain't gonna get in that army.
Yeah,
Call it just a
I
minute.
just want to say that I grew up with a mother who was poor and a single parent, and the reason I got into this fight in the first place is because I saw her crying herself to sleep every night because she couldn't pay her bills, even though she worked 10, 12 hours a day, as far as I know, we were white, but you know, and the way that
See? Never
what
can
that
tell.
race was used was to say to my mother, yeah, you're poor, you're crying yourself to sleep, but at least you're not as bad as the people who are
black.
over there that are black. And that was how my family was divided. And so I think one of the things that Dr. King taught was that we ain't never going to stop this thing
That's
as
right.
long as we get them to have us fight each other rather than fight against the
That's
common system that's keeping us all down. So I just wanted to say that I got into this because I was poor, and I know it's not just targeted against blacks, even though I know that disproportionately,
Sure.
in terms of percentage, black people get it, as they always have, the worst. But it's used against white people to keep them from fighting too and joining the fight.
Thank you very much, Mary. Oh, okay, Shayla.
No.
I grew up in a place that is now probably the most violent city in the world.
You grew up in Detroit?
I grew up in Acapulco, Mexico,
Oh,
which is the most violent city in the world. Um,
well, go ahead, because she's tearing up. She needs a minute to think about some stuff. Go ahead, because
You
she
know,
got
we-
some family
we,
stories to tell
We
here.
get that kind of question quite often.
Just a minute, caller. Go ahead.
Wanting to know, is it everything geared towards blacks? You know, as long as this capitalist system can use that question, I mean, the question of blacks versus everybody, then we're going to stay divided. And if they can't use that today, then they're going to use the question of religion.
Oh, Lord.
You know, and I was kidding with one of the kids, young people, in Highland Park today. He said, Miss Kramer, you know, I turned 30. I said, you know, there's a saying, don't trust nobody over 30. I say, so, you know, that was something that was used at one time in the 60s against the movement and what have you. Don't trust nobody over 30. Anything Wall Street that represents the interests of the capitalists can use will be able to use anything they want as long as that propaganda gets over to protect their base. And their base is profits at our expense.
Every day.
And so, you know, you could have on a yellow dress, and with the day could be, I'm telling you, it could get so that stupid as long as it worked.
Crips and Bloods, blue and red.
There you go. And keep them fighting over the question of color. We have to understand that the class is multinational. We have to understand that the United States go throughout the world talking about come to America. Look how good we
Land of
live.
the free.
And soon you cross that line, reality hits you in the face. The class is multinational. We need to understand that, and we need to and we need to educate on that constantly. That if we move to eliminate poverty in this country,
All of us
we'll
together?
Get rid of, hey, Maureen,
we
it'll be
could do
tremendous.
this.
You and I could go
Yeah, we could
probably
do
on the
this.
beach somewhere then.
See,
And you know,
we
if
could
we
do
begin
this.
to do that stuff, that type of movement out here, we can look for a society that have the interests of the vast majority of the people being the interests of this country. So, you know, no, yeah, whenever they can use the question of black versus white, brown versus this, red versus that, they're going to do it.
Caller, you've been waiting and very patient. You are on the air. Thank you for calling Ask Welfare Rights.
Yes, good evening.
And good evening.
And first of all, you have two very good guests. I'm enjoying the program so
Thank you.
far.
Thank you.
And now also, we got a TV 33 WHPR. This is what we need to get information out. The young lady that called about the home for the lady you said that needed a place to live.
Isn't that wonderful?
This is good. See how God works? Now also, we got to start making sure these people get out here and vote. They got to get out. I don't care. We have to go to the cabarets to get these young people to vote. We got to get them out. We can't wait till the last minute. Otherwise, if you know that other crazy man get in that office, we're in trouble. We are in trouble. So we got to start right away getting them to vote. I'm going to hang up and listen because I'm enjoying the program.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for calling.
And Maureen, you look nice with that, your hair. The face
Hey,
right
listen,
in
don't
with
talk to
that,
me. I've been waiting on you to go to
with the
Parks
sign.
Barbecue for 2 months.
know, that
And
has
get
been
get
too
off
much.
there.
Okay, I'm trying to cheer you up. Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Well,
Yeah,
cheer
cheer
up.
me up.
To
2
cheer up
months
when you
I've been
come in
waiting
here
on you.
with some Parks barbecue
See,
for.
2 months. Just making promises.
But
All right,
Maureen,
so,
before you move on,
go ahead.
Dear sister, I want to know what's the deal with the glasses tonight.
I had my glasses on because earlier today, what they did is they cut grass at my job. And so we have all kinds of grass clippings and the aromas and whatnot for fresh grass being cut. And for us upper respiratory disease persons, that's murder. And so I had one of the worst allergy attacks at the job that I've ever had. All this stuff in the air, and then I went in the office and the kids were crying they're about to graduate, and it's 99 degrees in the office, and I mean everything. So I just went and put the glasses on to keep my hands from scratching my eyes because it's just miserable. So I wasn't alone, but also I was thinking what Malcolm X would have been 91 years of age yesterday, a day before yesterday, and he was kind of cool in his glasses. I got to say,
But I thought you were trying to
No.
do something with Ray Charles.
no,
so
no,
let's move on.
No. So let's talk a little bit about some of the scheduled activities that our colleagues will be dealing with. Now, today I know they're on the road and, trying to get the sleeping quarters and everything set up. But tomorrow we got a couple of things. We're going to get a chance to take them over to the Rouge plant and watch cars being built with very few people. Now, I wanted to mention that because that's a big issue here. And, it's really hard to convince Americans that they're not, or that they're really not equal to Donald Trump. They really think they are. That they're equal to anybody whose last name is Kennedy, equal to anybody whose last name is Fitzgerald, equal to anybody whose last name is Ford, or last name is Chrysler, or your first name is General and your last name is Motors.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. So in Detroit, and you all don't know this, and some of our other colleagues over here, there was a time when we had 1.8, 1.9 million people that lived just in the city of Detroit. And more than 50% of those folks were either directly or indirectly tied to automobile manufacturing. So we had Ford, Rouge, and still do, and Huber Avenue Foundry, Lynch Road Assembly, Dodge Main, Kelsey Hayes. We had all kinds of factories, and they were making, factory workers were making good money. And then one by one, Poletown, Dodge Main, whatever the different factories, everyone closed. And what we thought at the time was just changeover, it wasn't. It was change out.
We told them it was
You know.
They were
something
moving
new
to
coming
change
on.
change the situation.
And more and more, my son works at Fort Rouge now, where Marion's husband, Jen, used to work. And I remember when Jen and them used to come in with dirt on them and burn all up and all that kind of stuff. And I took my kids on a tour, the same tour we're going on tomorrow. And the first thing that shocked them, Marion, was how clean the floor was. And where my son works, he does a job, a skilled tradesperson, and he does a job where he's required to wear gloves and an apron, and he has to stay clean. And there are machines that do the work. And that just really means something, because if you're not a computer, that means you're in trouble.
Well,
So-
the computers were first brought on to enhance the workers to produce more. Now we have, and look at that, your phone is going on.
And we'll keep talking, because you can't get to it. So keep talking.
Anyway, now the workers are enhancing the computers. Not the computers, but the robots. My son that is there at one time had a job that, don't worry about it, had a job where he was taking certain parts of the car and putting it on a table that the robot would recognize
Would
and
pick
pick
up.
up and and be able to do their job. So things are changing. And now what we want to say to young people, and particularly around this whole question of what we're dealing with today, and that's the question of poverty. We need you young people to join this movement, because
They not gonna join.
Maureen,
They're not going to join.
they're gonna join.
No, they
when
want
they
you to
up
do the
ag-
work.
When they up against the wall, and they know
They
they're
ain't
gonna
gonna
have to
join.
come afterwards. Now I remember your little
Too
set-
slow.
I remember how slow
I
you was.
never was resisting. I don't
You
know. I
wasn't
was standing on
resisting.
top of the
I
building.
hope they
I
don't jump
never
on the
was
building
resisting.
like
I
you
was
had.
standing
We had
on
to-
top of the building
we had to
throwing rocks.
rescue her.
You know?
But they will.
they don't
come.
think anything
They
matters.
will
They don't
come.
think anything will change.
Well, see,
You know?
that's the
You
but
know?
they're gonna find out that these jobs that they thought that their mother and father had and that they were gonna be able to get
Not gonna
do
get
not
'em.
exist no more.
And let me say this, and then we'll ask our guests to comment. The whole question of technology that used to assist labor is now technology that has replaced labor, and not just in factories. I tell this story all the time of my first ATM card. And I used to go inside the bank, and Miss Mary was there, and Miss Johnson was there, and Uncle so and so, and I'd go to each one and I'd say hello, how you doing, and how's your family, and how's your husband, and all this kind of stuff. And I knew everybody's story. And then I got that ATM card, and then I was able to use that ATM card on the outside of the bank. And Mary, you can't be talking on the air on the phone. You have to hang up. Lord have mercy. After 20 years, you know. So anyway,
I have teenagers.
you know,
She don't understand that.
and what would happen is I would use my ATM card on the outside of the building, but then I would knock on the glass and I would wave to my friends, but I didn't go in there anymore. Okay? And then there came a time that the bank disappeared.
Yes.
They started moving to other places when I went down there to find out where they were. And then a couple of years ago, my kid told me, Ma, they got something new, and it's called a smartphone. And I said, oh, okay. And he said you could just take a check and wave it over it, and it'll, take care of the money. And he said, you don't have to leave the house at all. I said, wait just a minute. What does that mean? But that's the case. So more and more people are being replaced. And that's why I think part of the beauty and the essence of the tour is that you all are able to go and look and witness this. Veterans coming back have done their duty, and they
And they're
can't find a
homeless.
place to live.
yeah.
No water in Detroit. You're going to go to Flint where you can't drink the water. I mean,
You can't
some
take a
horrible,
shower with the water. You can't cook with the water.
horrible
nothing.
things happening. But, tell us something about what you all saw in Selma or Salinas. What kind of stories can you share with our folks? Because let's see, we're down to our last 22 minutes. So give us a little update. What did you see anywhere you went? What stood out?
Well, we were just in Elkhart, Indiana, which you go in, you think it's going to be lovely little town in Indiana,
I've been there.
and we just saw, stuff that made you weep. People are talking about just what you talked about. There's a factory that moved to Indiana, used to have 70,000, I think, if I got the statistic right. They rebuilt it, and now they got 2,500 workers. And other industries, they told us, are coming in, and they're using all temporary workers. So they don't have to worry about benefits, don't have to worry about unionization, and people got jobs again, because Elkhart was one of these places where the recession just took away almost every job.
Yes, it did.
But they're getting paid half of what they were getting paid then. So they're still in poverty even though they got jobs and they're working. So that's the kind of thing. And what we're finding is that there's almost no place you can find in America where that's not the case, where people aren't. And I suppose it's the same, maybe even more in
Almost
Mexico,
worse than Mexico.
where Donald Trump is trying to get us to believe that,
To build a
the
wall.
Mexicans are the problem. They're taking our jobs away. But I'm sure you have a different story.
Well, Shayla, when's the last time you've been to Mexico?
That was in 2003.
Okay, what do you remember? Because we're talking 13 years ago. What do you recall?
So we left because it was getting really bad, and I remember
Very
that
violent, mhm.
very violent, and particularly the place where I come from. It's in the southern part of Mexico, and it serves as a harbor for a lot of the drugs that get trafficked up to the United States. And so it was getting really bad, where to a point where we couldn't go outside of the home after 8 p.m. or 9 p.m.
At night you can't even go out.
Yeah, and so that's really a result of what people are calling the war on drugs, right? That has increased a lot of the policing, a lot of the violence, a lot of the fighting amongst the cartels, and that has incarcerated so many people in this country. And that has filled the prisons that are for profit, that are making all these rich people money, and our people are getting locked up and killed.
Now, I didn't, this is the first time you and I have met, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't tell you to say that, right?
No.
And I know you 100 years. I didn't tell you to say. See, people think that, Marion, that we're telling folks what to say.
I'm a
Caller,
holler
you
at
on the
you.
air. Thank you for calling Ask Welfare Rights. You're on the air. Caller?
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air.
This is Stevie.
Good evening, ladies.
Hello.
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm just fine. This is Ordinary Joe.
Hey, OJ. Okay.
All right, listen, Marilyn, I got to get Marine right. I got my blue suede shoes on, and you guys got those 2 blue shirts on.
You taking us out tonight?
Oh, please.
Oh, yes, I am. Anyway, I wanted to make a comment to your guest.
Please, go ahead.
Welcome to the city of Detroit.
And Highland Park.
Okay, and to the gentleman. And also to Highland Park. And listen, Shay, you got a very, very, very famous name. The famous revolutionary, Che Rivera.
Oh, yeah.
I am certain that you were named after Che Rivera. Viva Zapata, Viva Revolution.
Yeah.
So here we go, Marilyn. I had called, and I had my blue suede shoes on, right? And you weren't here, Marilyn, right?
Oh, you
So,
talking to Marion?
Marie said, go ahead and sing while Marion not here.
Oh, okay.
So Marie, you got to put your fingers in your ears, Marie. This is specifically for Marion.
Okay, I'm not listening.
All right, I don't see your fingers in your ears.
See, you say put your fingers in your ears.
Okay, here we go, Marilyn.
All right.
Sweeter, sweeter, sweet and be.
Oh, Lord.
It's time to drift away.
He's singing to you.
I hear you.
Towards the evening star, you will hear my voice line. I'll be where you are.
Oh, my
You will
goodness.
live in me, and I will live in you. That will never change.
All right. You know, that's why Maureen wouldn't let you sing. She understood that you could sing. Thank you very much.
Serenading on a Friday night. Sir, you are a gentleman and a scholar.
Viva a revolution.
And
that's
say
right,
Viva.
Viva.
All right now. Thank you much.
Right.
Thank you much. All right, we're down to our last 15 minutes.
So where are we going?
Well,
They going to Flint after you leave here, right?
Yeah.
okay, we got a couple of things because I wanted them to share some thoughts here. Tomorrow, after we leave the Rouge plant, we're going over to Sacred Heart Activity Center. Anybody that would like to come on Elliott, off of Rivard, anybody is welcome. We'll be there
1000
about
Elliott.
1000 Elliott. And anybody who would like to come and meet our guests and come and hang out with us for a while, we're going to have a tribunal. And from 1 to 3, 1 to 5, folks will be able to tell stories about how it is in the Detroit and Highland Park and Hamtramck area, how it is that their lives got turned upside down. And the first half of that will be individuals who are victims of poverty. And the last 2 hours are organizations and agencies that work with low-income people able to talk about the rise and the explosion and the increase in poverty. So if you'd like to come and join us, we'll be there tomorrow. Caller, you on the air. We're getting close to the end. Thank you for calling Ask Welfare Rights.
Yes. Hi, Marion. Hi, Maureen.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes. This is Vera speaking. Just wanted to remind you, Maureen, we still need that information. Marion, did she tell you about what happened?
That's Vera. I want to know if you told. Well, what happened where? And I almost forgot. I'll get it to you Monday. That's Vera from
Okay.
African American
she's going to
Agents
be,
Museum.
Maureen is going to be our honoree at the Legacy Dinner this year.
She's talking about the award ceremony coming up. I'm not gonna forget, and I will have those documents to you Monday.
That's right.
Okay,
Maureen
you can
is
I can come and get 'em
getting
for
an
you.
award.
I was going to email them to you.
Okay, that's good.
I'll do that.
All right.
And thank you so much.
And
Getting an award.
let me say,
I'm getting an award.
the Afro American Museum, as of lately, have been really playing a role out here for people to get an education and everything like that. And so it's an honor. I got one. I don't forget how many years ago from there. But they've been fighting to keep that museum open. And it's a love you had the chance.
Beautiful
it's a
place.
beautiful place to be, because the people in Detroit did rally to make sure that that museum exists.
And that it stayed there. Vera, I'm gonna get that to you, okay?
She's
Okay.
gonna-
And
All
thank
right.
you so
See ya.
much. All right,
Bye.
so now the tribunal is tomorrow. That's Saturday over at Sacred Heart. And then on Sunday, Marion,
Before you
Liz.
move on with that one, Sacred Heart is right behind the McDonald's off of
So Forrest and
no I-75 on
Okay.
in Mac, right off of Mac, and McDonald's is on Mac, and the place is right behind that. It's the Church Recreation Center. So come on out and
tomorrow between 1 and 5. And on Sunday, another member of the poverty tour, that's Liz Theo Harris. She will be
Dr. Liz, remember?
well, she's
Yeah,
gonna be
Dr.
Reverend Doctor.
Yeah,
Reverend Dr.
Lee.
Reverend Dr.
But
Liz.
she our child now.
You know,
Go
and
on.
she's going to be preaching at Central United Methodist Church. Church services start at 10:30 for you heathens that don't know anything about church services. So yeah,
talking to?
and that's at Central, Marion. Central
Our
United
church,
Methodist
yes.
Church. Yeah. So that'll be Sunday, and of course anybody and everybody is invited because I'm sure it's going to be quite interesting. Let's go on to after you all leave Detroit, you're headed toward Flint, Michigan.
That's
Now,
right.
what have you heard? What do you know? What do you think about that?
Well, I think there's probably a gap between what we hear, even on the news, and what's
Oh
really
my
going
God,
on. That's
yes.
one reason we want to go there and talk with the people, because they put up people, on the television who claim that they're speaking for Flint. I don't think they put the real leaders on television almost ever. So I think we want to learn not only about the horrors that are going on, the way people are being poisoned with the water, but the struggle that's going on and the fight that people are doing. So we're hoping to meet people and learn from them and incorporate that struggle, make it even at the heart of the Poor People's Campaign.
Now, beyond Flint, do you have a sense of what the next few stops might be? What other areas you all may be going or heading toward?
Well, the next place we're going is Cleveland, Ohio, and we'll be
LeBron
meeting.
James. Did you?
Did you call LeBron?
Well, yeah.
Did you call LeBron and let him know you were coming?
Well, I put a call in, but he doesn't answer.
I haven't
yet,
called
so,
back yet.
Yeah, he hasn't called back yet. But I'm from Cleveland originally, so I'm expecting that him to call. But really, that's where the Republicans are gathering in July, and the groups that we're going to be meeting with are planning to have a march against poverty and a march for economic justice in Cleveland on the day that convention opens up. To have let the people speak instead of
You know
the
what
guy
date that
who
is?
they're nominating. What?
Do you know the date?
Yeah, July 18th. July 18th.
Yeah, they've been announcing it.
And we want it's a national march, so it's for everybody who wants to not let that guy speak for America.
We're down to our last 10 minutes, and I will ask Shayla and Larry to comment. I told the story in the beginning of folks, a family that lives on the second floor in a wheelchair with 2 children and no water for some time now. And there's a standard that I continue to hear, Marion hears, they tell us this at Welfare Rights all the time, that it is a standard practice that if you can't pay for water, it's a standard and an accepted practice that it's all right for the city to turn water off. And in some way, that kind of statement offends me. And that kind of statement should offend everyone. I ran into a preacher not too long ago and talking about this water situation, and he kind of was suggesting that, there's some people that could probably pay their water bill and fooling around and spending their money foolishly. And before he could go further, I reminded this clergyman, there's a story about somebody that had a flock of sheep, and they had 99 sheep, but one of them was lost. And whoever the shepherd was went to go find that one sheep that was lost because he thought that was important. And I asked this pastor, don't you think that the sheep that got away, the person that didn't pay the water bill, deserves to get picked up and brought back to the flock with the rest of them so they can all drink? He started to apologize, ashamed that I had to say to him these words that put him in check. He's supposed to be the shepherd, but he chilling back here with the Cadillac flock, and I'm telling him about the Volkswagen here that then got away. Isn't that your job to go and do this? So we hear this stuff a lot, and when you get to Flint, they're gonna be the victims. See, in Detroit and in Highland Park, it's our fault that we can't pay for water because we just too stupid. We hired the wrong people as mayor, and we just criminal.
Married the wrong
Married the
people.
wrong people. We the wrong color.
Everything.
We the wrong height. Something that we did wrong. And when you get to Flint, they just victims. Oh my God, how did this happen? Woe is me. And then we got all these people that are bumping into each other. I'm not gonna resign. I'm gonna fix it.
Yeah.
But they keep getting paid. Now, what do y'all think about that?
In Philadelphia, we have a similar situation. Actually, as a result of what happened in Flint and that becoming a big story, the Philadelphia City Council got lobbied to have hearings on lead exposure. And at the same time, we use that as an opportunity to fight against the water prices going up, which are going up in Philadelphia by a 12% rate for everybody, which is a lot for people who already don't have water because it was also shut down in their homes. So it is a struggle that's going on all over the place, and in Philadelphia, and also in other parts in other cities of Pennsylvania. And for us, that's absolutely unacceptable. And water, just like healthcare for us, is a human right. And a human right means that everybody should have access to it regardless of who you are.
Well,
for
what about
us,
if you can't pay for it?
you should have access to it. It's a basic need.
They're not.
You
LeBron
need
is
to
not going
live.
to call you back. LeBron James will not be calling you back. To keep talking like that here. Right?
Well,
That's all right.
It's okay.
No, but you're right. That's the media story, is that the problem is Flint, and that's the only place. And if we just fix Flint, everything's okay. And we've learned that it's everywhere. It's
We
in
told 'em- we
Pennsylvania, it's
told
in
'em.
Cleveland, it's in New York City. It's everywhere where people are being...
we told them about Flint 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Several years, because Clara had been out here with us when we first started around this water fight in 2008. And you know, this stuff it didn't come overnight. But we warn every city, every state that we have gone to,
Yeah.
you better check your situation, because the people in the United States, be you white, black, green, or yellow, are always rocked to sleep, thinking everything is going to be nice. And then all of a sudden the cloud comes in. But we had warned them about Flint, and Clara and them were right on it. You know, but they didn't want to listen to them.
That's not true. Yeah, because what they're
the
saying is
governor
not true.
said, I didn't hear about this. I didn't know
He
nothing
didn't.
about
Nobody
this.
told him. The residents were showing up at his office with bottles of water with stuff
And hair.
floating in it. You know, for
Balls of
months.
hair.
And he didn't know, but he did know when the workers, the state workers in Lansing, said we can't drink this water because people are showing up with these same bottles, and he allowed them money to
Yes.
go get bottled water brought in. But he didn't know anything, you know. This question of poverty, and one of the original statements that was made early on, whether or not it's man-made, and you know, I have a broader picture of poverty. Poverty is about the business of the downside of capitalism. If they don't need you, you don't have to have education. You close up all these schools in Detroit. Close up all these schools in Highland Park. Do you have any more public schools in Highland Park? Public. No. Are there any public schools in Inkster? No. We got whole cities that don't have public schools. So charter schools are coming around. And charter schools mean, you know, you have to find a benefactor, somebody that's got a lot of money, may not have any kind of educational background at all, but you get that person or that entity to charter your school, and you can open some things up. Some of them work good, some of them don't. But, you know, I looked. It's only in the Michigan Constitution where people have the right to a free and public constitution. I thought it was in the national paperwork someplace, but it's not, I guess.
As we leave this program tonight, as you go up to Flint and you leave in Highland Park in Detroit, you know, ask people what they feel about these emergency managers and city managers. There's no difference between them.
Yeah.
To us, the tool of the government, and particularly this governor, that's ushering on us the whole state of fascism, where they can do what they want to do at our expense.
Yeah.
But you know, the masses of people are the last one to unite with the fact that something is happening bad to them.
Well, what about Stephen Rhodes? Judge Rhodes, he's
Lord,
he's
have
a
mercy.
transitional administrator.
Tell them how many
And,
salaries he get.
well, the translation of a transitional administrator is emergency manager.
Yes.
Okay, so he's appointed. He's retired from being a federal court judge. Then they brought him back at about $18,000 a month to manage the bankruptcy here in Detroit. We weren't bankrupt; they bankrupted us. But he got $18,000 a month at least.
Brought his
Okay,
friend on.
yeah, and then because we wouldn't agree with so many things, he called one of his buddies who was retired. Let's do the conversation, Marion. Ring, ring,
Hello,
ring.
hello.
Hey, how you doing? How your family?
I'm doing fine, but you know, I do need a little more money.
Oh, well, listen, that's why I'm calling you, dude. I got this gig that, they paying me $18,000 a month.
Doing
and
what?
I know you retired. All I got to do is sit there and listen. Every
Oh,
now and
but,
then,
you know,
you'll
I'm
hold
good
my
for that.
head up.
I'm good for that.
Why don't I tell
Because
them
remember,
that
I'm retired.
Why don't I tell them that you'd be the perfect person for a mediation?
Oh, yeah.
Mediator. You know, mediator means you have to sit at the
Look,
front
the
of the
Great
table.
Lakes Authority,
You know?
Maureen, can
Yeah,
count on
can I
me.
tell them you in?
Yes.
Now you may
Okay,
not get
Judge Rowe.
$18,000 a month, but I can guarantee you $17,000 a month.
And
can I
uh,
tell them you in?
I'm in.
All right.
I'm in for as long as that money keep rolling.
That's how they do this. They
Yes.
call their friends. So we had a mediator, and now this guy is been assigned the role of trying to remanage and revamp the school system in Detroit, the school system that he's part of, the destroying team, and he's getting another $18,000 a month. Now I didn't figure that out. 18,000 divided by 30. What's that? $600 a day? You know, boy, that's some good living, ain't it? $18,000 a month, and a welfare recipient with one child, household of two, they get $5,500 in a year.
Yeah.
And this trick, excuse me, Lord, this trick is getting $18,000 a month. Our money, taxpayers' money. And I thought we were bankrupt. Now, what do y'all say about that? And don't use no curse words on TV.
Yeah. I think we got to fight.
You know?
I think you got to fight. We got to fight with you. So that's what we're about. I think it's going to take something massive to stop this. I think this is not just we can keep fighting one thing here and one thing there, and it's like the moles coming up and you whack one and another one comes
Another
up.
one comes.
I think the only way is to build a movement that's big enough and strong enough and deep enough that we can finally turn this system around. And that's, I know, what you've been doing all your lives, and I haven't got many years left in mine. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it. So
Well,
that's what we're
Shayla,
about doing.
you have
Shayla's gonna
10
lead it.
seconds to say goodbye. That was
Thank
9
you.
right there.
Thank you for hosting us. People of Detroit, I hope you come out to some of the events that we have in the next few days, and I hope you join the fight.
Marion, you
Thank
have
you.
12 seconds.
Oh, why I get so long? But anyway, we want to remind folks that the Michigan Parade is going on this week, tomorrow, and at the same time, join this fight. You know, poverty should not be on the increase; it should be on the decrease. But if you love living in poverty, Maureen, let me see what you would say.
If you love living in poverty, we're going to let you stay there as long as you like.
That's right.
You know, because some folks, when they die, they don't deserve a funeral. They just dig a hole, throw them in there, throw some
And
dirt
that's
over them, and keep going.
and
you know?
that is the way that they bury a lot of people
see?
here in Michigan.
All right, tomorrow we'll be at Sacred Heart at 1 o'clock. Please come and join us. On Sunday, we'll be at Central. Lots of things going on. My name is Maureen Taylor. I'm here with Larry, with Shayla, and Marion. Lord willing, the creek don't rise. We'll be back here next Friday. And those of you that smoke those cigarettes, stop that. And those of you that drive those SUVs and try to run us off the road, stop that. Pull those cars over. Goodbye.
Bye.
Following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of W33BY, its affiliates, management, or sponsors.